morning. My name is Doug Voisin, and I'm with a company called Pharma-Safe Industrial Services based in Lafayette, Louisiana. I am the Chief Operating Officer.
And let's start off by talking a little bit about what your company does. What do you guys do out there?
Well, this company was formed in 1998 as a medical supply company by two paramedics that worked offshore on the oil and gas rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. There was a need for reasonably priced medical supplies being sold to the oil companies that had people working offshore. So they formed a little company out of their garage, grew it like a lemonade stand, a little bit at a time. And eventually that grew to a pretty sizable company along the Gulf Coast, serving probably 350 oil and gas clients for medical supplies only for about 6 years. At some point, many of their clients began to request that they provided personnel. And in late 2005, early 2006, they decided to make the jump into providing paramedics offshore and safety techs and clerks. And the company grew exponentially since then, obviously, because Band-Aids are a lot smaller revenue-wise than personnel. And since then, we've been a player in the Gulf of Mexico and internationally, providing remote industrial paramedics, HSE techs, clerks, logistics coordinators, and still medical supplies, but medical supplies is a very small part of what we do now. It's mostly personnel.
I was going to say, it sounds to me like it's a little bit like emergency services on some aspects. What sort of sub-niche do you fall in, I guess? Because you mentioned it's not so much the supplies as much as the labor. So talk a little bit about kind of how that would be classified within the industry.
Well, it really falls in the safety sector. Since the offshore environment is a very, very safe work environment. The policies are strong. The companies have robust systems in place. There isn't a lot of incidents that take place. So our people are cross-trained in a function that is either HSE related, which is a full-time function. They're a rig clerk. They're a logistic coordinator. And then if they are a paramedic, when an event occurs, either an illness or an injury or something as simple as I got a headache or I stubbed my toe, they put on their paramedic hat and they treat the patient and keep them out there working and help manage that case to keep it from elevating to a level of a recordable. If they're working on the HSE side, obviously there's plenty of tasks and duties in regard to HSE compliance in the offshore environment, and it keeps them pretty busy. And once again, if the need arises, they function as a paramedic. So we could really cut our teeth with this dual role situation in the beginning, but over the years, because of the slowly increasing safety regulations, our roles have become much more HSE-centric than clerk-centric in recent years. So it falls under the HSE category.
What are you seeing for needs out there in terms of, is there any certain area that you're either you knew it was going to be there, or it surprised you that, boy, we're certainly going on a lot more calls that involve X, Y, Z? Does that question make sense?
Yes. Well, obviously the Gulf of Mexico has been flat for the last couple of years, and it's based on our sources, it's still going to be flat for the next few months, maybe into early 2019. So what we see, we're blessed. Our pizza pie of business sectors is divided up into a lot of pieces. We don't work in any one sector. We have currently nobody working in drilling because there's nobody doing any drilling. But we work in the plug and abandon decommissioning sector, which has been very busy. We work in the ROV subsea sector, where many companies are working in that sector, providing subsea support to install and remove and inspect different devices that lay on the subsea floor. Regular construction repairs of offshore facilities. We do a lot of work on permanent production facilities. These are facilities that exist and have existed for many years, that are a hub for supply services, coming back and forth, and oil pipelines and things, as well as some other boats. A few diving jobs still exist, and things like that. So to say that we knew where to place ourselves is probably wrong. We were lucky. The company developed a lot of relationships with a lot of companies early on by selling them Band-Aids and Tylenol, and that led to, I guess, a very diversified portfolio of clients, which has really helped us over the years.
You mentioned offshore a few times. I was going to ask you about other shale plays. I don't know if you're in any other shale plays onshore at all, but you've also mentioned international. So just kind of outside of the Gulf, what other areas do you guys provide services to, or do you find yourself being called out to?
In the offshore sector, we've worked all over the world, West Africa and all that area. We work quite often in South America, Trinidad, Brazil, Ecuador. That's pretty much the scope of our services offshore. Because offshore has been so slow the last couple of years, we have been working in some of these shale plays, and we opened an office in Midland, Texas, and we're very busy over there. There's a lot of need for what we do in that area: training, HSE support, case management. So we've been with the Gulf has not given us in revenue. We're hoping to get it from the Midland, Texas, the Permian Basin.
How about when it comes to third-party regulators, whether it be OSHA or whatever maritime law regulators you have to go through in offshore part? But what kind of relationships, either from the navigation side between the energy companies and the regulators, or just you with the regulators? Talk to me about that relationship, how it works with you and the regulators, because I imagine they're probably on your speed dial and vice versa.
Actually, we don't have a lot of communication back and forth with the regulators at all. We're involved. I guess what's interesting about what we do, we have a pretty robust safety program in-house with our company, but each of our personnel may work standalone for XYZ energy company. So we work under their programs, and we function as an extension of their HSE department. So in regard to that, we don't have a strong line of communication with regulators. And, honestly, with the amount of activity that exists, even at this level in the Gulf and on land, there's not a lot of day-to-day involvement from regulators. It's mostly them being responsive to significant incidents that happen. But most of the companies that do work, because of the constraints put on them by the operators, have a pretty robust program and don't see the regulators much. And I'm pretty sure that they don't have the staff to saturate the market. But we have very little interaction with regulators.
Well, I think that's a positive sign if they're not out there as much as I've seen in other areas. So, well, that's good. I learned something new every day here. That's good sign. Last question before I kind of let you have the floor a little bit, and it's kind of talks a little bit about how, I kind of had that misconception there a little bit, and it has to do with, I call it the evolution of the oil and gas industry, the changing of the oil and gas industry, if you will, from the jobs to the sub-industries to a lot of the different things. And safety is one of those that I've seen become a major component under the oil and gas umbrella, if you will. Safety I've seen grow from a regulation side, I guess, more than anything. That's why I kind of lumped you in with the with the regulators. So I guess I wanted to ask you a little bit about how much the industry's changed from your perspective. You've seen kind of this job market change a little bit, and you've seen kind of the onshore, offshore, especially if you guys are opening an office in Midland and finding success early on. Have you noticed the industry kind of changing a little bit, or evolving?
Oh, yeah, I believe that's a true statement. I think the industry has evolved significantly significantly. From personal experience, my first job offshore was I was a wireline helper right out of high school, and I went offshore. And the things that were done during those time periods in the early 80s were we're seen as just completely ridiculous now. So as far as the culture change, it has changed 180 degrees. The companies we work for, and I guess it's a self-selecting sample for us, and here's why. If a company is not interested in being compliant, safe, and taking care of their employees, they don't call us, and they don't engage us for our services. So the self-selecting sample part is that companies that are committed engage companies like us to add value to an already existing robust safety program. And that's who we want to work for. And there's plenty of those companies. Unfortunately, there's still a few companies that don't believe that, and they're just looking for the dollars, and they usually don't last long, and unfortunately, we still do hurt people out there. So the folks we call on have a already in place robust system. They're looking for just an extra set of eyes to help them with their program or do additional training. The amount of training that the oil companies do, especially in what we're experiencing now in the Midland area, it's really, really robust. They do a ton of stuff, and they're hiring employees. The volume employees. I think we met with the Chamber of Commerce in Midland a few weeks ago, and they estimated that almost 40,000 people would be entering that area in the next 6 to 12 months. Those employees, 50% of them needed a full training suite of what it takes to get a person from no experience to entry-level experience. And that's significant investments for every one of those companies. So we're excited about where the industry is from a safety culture standpoint. And that's not saying we don't have room to improve, because we all see the headlines of accidents that happen. They had one recently, and where some people lost their lives, and that's unfortunate. So it shows you there's always significant room for improvement. But we're pretty pleased about where the culture is, and those companies that are engaging us and wanting to do better and send people home the same way they showed up at work and protect them for their families. So it's a good industry, and unfortunately, externally, the people that don't know anything about the oil industry still somewhat view it as, big bad oil. They, since Macondo and some other things that have happened, and all the protests against certain types of activities and oil, I think the general public has a bad perception of the oil industry for a variety of reasons. But I can tell you from first-hand experiences, they're as committed to safety as any Google or any automotive plant, and probably more. So we're happy about that.
Well, I've said this for a while now. What I've noticed over the past 5-6 years is the oil companies are the last hope, in my opinion, for accessibility to anybody outside of the energy industry, really. I mean, the politicians are very difficult to be accessible to. A lot of the leaders are. And the oil companies are still the most localized people around. I mean, they're still the ones attending the local meetings that are making the changes, because it's all their employees and the cafe owners that are reliant on a lot of the different energy companies and that sort of thing. And that's been a revelation over the past few years. And we have on this program talked about the polarization of a lot of the different conversations. And you mentioned oil and gas getting a bad rap. Well, it's tough when, you start lumping in politics with energy development, because energy development's more about evolving culture than it is about politics. And when I start to see those things, that's why on our program, we've done a hard push on saying we're non-political, because we want to just talk about the changes in the industry and the facts, and how a lot of, like, for example, what it is you're doing is changing the industry and that sort of thing. So I'll let you comment on that, or you can say next question, or however you want to respond to that, I guess. So.
No, I agree with you, Seth. No real comments other than I believe I believe we've turned the corner a little bit in regard to perceptions, and we just need to keep moving forward. I think the energy companies, especially the bigger ones, do recognize, because if you look back and you look at the media marketing and the advertising from the major oil companies in the last, let's just say, 24 to 36 months, it has changed greatly to a more personal, family, jobs, environment type approach. And I think that's important, and it's an important distinction from before. Born and raised in Louisiana, my entire family was connected to the oil and gas industry. My dad was a land manager for a large oil company and land company in Louisiana his whole career, and he retired. And all his friends did the same or similar things. So it's very important personally to everybody in Louisiana, just like it's extremely important to that mom and pop coffee shop in Midland that was struggling to make it with their 8 or 10 customers a day. Now they can't keep up. So it has a huge value to the economy. And there is a perception too that the only people that benefit is big fat oil companies. That is not the case at all. You go ride to a place like Midland, Texas, in the outskirts of the city, and a farmer that had a plot of land turned it into a campground for people coming in to work in the oil industry, and he's making more revenue than he could ever imagine and having a nice retirement because he's got 10 campers set up on his property and providing a living for his family and his grandchildren. So there's some other pieces and parts of this that they're kind of lost in the translation when you just say, you're against big oil or whatever. I think everybody benefits, and I don't think that's talked about enough.
I couldn't agree more. That's why we like to focus on those types of things on this program, because that's what it's all about. I mean, really, to me, that's why I fell in love with this industry, was because that's the type of stories you see where it truly brings out opportunity and it truly brings out innovation, and it's so organic. And to what you do, transitioning back to what it is you do, there is so much put into prevention. That shocks me. I don't think the average person really understands how much resources, whether it be personnel or financial, that go into prevention. And now, I mean, from a safety standpoint, all the money and resources that are going into technology to even take the prevention even further. It's no wonder you don't see any regulators around there anymore. So just kind of final thoughts, anything that we missed out on, anything you want to reiterate? I'd like to give guests kind of the final thoughts on things. That way there's not a question framed by me in any way. So the floor is yours, sir.
Well, once again, thank you for taking the time to reach out to us. We think this is worthwhile. And one thing I've seen is that the oil industry, per se, has had zero platforms in the past, and which what you're doing and a few other folks are doing are creating some, using the technology we have to create these communication modes that are very, very good for the industry. So I guess just from a standpoint, if somebody wants more information about us, they can reach out to www.pharmasafe.com. That's PHARMASAFE.com. And they can learn more information there. We're very strong in LinkedIn, and I just thank you for your time. I think you're doing a great thing, and whatever I can do to help you promote what you're doing, I'm here for you, and just here to help everybody, go to work, be safe, and go home with all their fingers and toes, and hug their family and barbecue, and just enjoy life. So thank you very much.